The job market for older workers just seems to be getting better and better, and I almost want to say happy days are here again, but I'm not going to go that far. The reason that I think the job market's gotten better is because the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported this morning that 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs in March, which means the number of available jobs, that number's climbed to 11.5 million, which is the highest level since they began recording data back in December of 2000. This means that 1.9 job openings are now available for every unemployed worker. And this shortage, well, you know what? It's prompted companies to put a new focus on retaining and hiring older workers. And that's according to the Society for Human Resource Management, or SHRM as they are known. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you some tips on how you can grab one of those jobs. But I also want to caution you about getting overly excited at this latest job news because sometimes with HR, old habits are hard to break. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, as I said before the break, the shortage of available workers has led to a focus on retaining and hiring workers older than the age of 55. And this is according to the Society of Human Resource Management, or SHRM as they're known. And SHRM, they've got over 300,000 HR and business executive members in 165 countries. So these HR professionals, you know what? Oftentimes they're the folks who are doing the hiring. And the reason there is finally an appreciation for older workers is the hot labor market. And as I said in the opening of this video, a record 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs in March. And the effect of this latest exodus is that job openings have climbed to 11.5 million, which is the highest level since data was collected back in December of 2000. And I'm going to repeat myself by again saying this. This means there are 1.9 job openings for every unemployed worker as of the month of March. So yeah, it's understandable that the current worker shortage has led to a new focus on workers older than the age of 55. And again, that's according to the SHRM. And I'm going to quote them. They say this. They say there's a compelling case for companies to employ workers ages 55 and older. Their job experience and ability to serve as mentors has proved invaluable at most employers because these are traits that must be accrued over time and for which younger employees cannot be trained. Of course, it's SHRM isn't telling everyone over 50 years old what we don't already know. We do know that we have the skills and the experience employers need. Unfortunately, it took a massive labor shortage for HR managers to accept that fact. But allow me to give you a word of caution. Just because jobs seem to be plentiful doesn't necessarily mean you'll be automatically hired. One of our viewers recently reported that he sent out 823 resumes, got just 9 interviews, and no job offers. He thinks it's because companies are sifting out the older job candidates, and that may be so. But Bureau of Labor Statistics does reveal a pressing need for workers, so it is quite possible that maybe, just maybe happy days are here again for older job seekers. So what can an older job seeker do to increase the likelihood that they'll land one of these jobs? Well, I'm going to offer you some tips. First tip number 1 is consider taking a career aptitude test. I find them very helpful to steer you in a direction maybe you weren't aware of. You know, career assessments, they're primarily designed to help career seekers, job seekers discover their skills and aptitudes and talents and, of course, interests that can lead you to maybe a new career discovery. And assessments, they're very helpful in helping candidates identify their strengths as well as their weaknesses. Now, I did a review of 4 free career aptitude tests. I'm going to put a link above so you can check out the 4 for yourself. I'll save you a little bit of time. I did find the number 1 career aptitude test to be from Career Fitter. I'm going to put a link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. But watch the video if you are agreeable to taking a career aptitude test. And quite frankly, I don't know why you wouldn't. Tip number 2, make sure your resume is up to date. And make sure there are no typos in your resume. And I do suggest professionalizing it, which simply means find a professional to help you write your resume and to look it over. And I want to relate a story to you or tell you a story about a gentleman that I recently helped with his resume. It was a friend of a friend. I got a phone call from a buddy of mine who said, "Hey, Lou, I got a friend. He's been in sales for 30 years. He's 57 years old. He can't find a job." And he asked me if I'd help him. So yeah, I did. I sat down with him. I looked at his resume, and he was proud of his resume when he showed it to me. And I looked at it, and quite frankly, it really was a mess. He had gone back, I think, 25 years, approximately 25 years of jobs that he had. There were plenty of typos in it. Some of the dates were wrong. There were things that were missing that were pretty obvious he should have had in his resume. He had his girlfriend, who he told me was a pretty smart lady, look it over. And you know what? She probably was pretty smart, but she did miss quite a few things. And I have no doubt that that resume, even though we sent out dozens and maybe even hundreds of resumes, I have no doubt that that resume held him back. So the point is, or the moral of this story is, yeah, you may think your resume is perfect, but you know what? It's possible. It's quite possible that it's not. And you really do want a perfect resume. And I don't say that lightly. I think if you're looking for a job and you're older, you want to put your best foot forward. And it really does start with a great resume. Tip number 3. Create a cover letter that hiring managers can't resist. And I'm going to save you a lot of time by letting you know that in the description box of this video, I have a free cover letter that hiring managers can't resist. I wrote this cover letter. I actually did a lot of research. There's a fellow on YouTube who also writes cover letters, and I got some tips from him. Again, I did my research and I assembled a very simple, a very easy to use cover letter that you can just put your name on, sign it, and you can send it right out, or maybe you're just going to copy and paste it, however you do it. It's a simple cover letter, but again, it's going to save you a lot of time. All you've got to do is put in your information and you are done. Tip number 4, and this is actually my last tip. Relentlessly practice the answers to the 8 most asked interview questions. And you know as well as I know, there are some pretty standard interview questions that you will be asked when you're sitting across from that hiring manager or the HR manager, or maybe you're on a Zoom call. But there are some standard questions that you're going to be asked, and it really helps if you relentlessly practice those answers. And a suggestion I have for you is something that I did, and I still do whenever I'm going to give a presentation and I want to test it out. I practice in front of a camera. Some people will practice in front of a mirror. If you don't have a camera, you could use your camera phone, but relentlessly practice those answers. And sometimes what does help is to go ahead and write out the answers. Now, I will tell you, maybe another shortcut for you is I do have a list of the 8 most asked interview questions. It's a playlist. You can go onto my channel. Matter of fact, I'll put a link in the description box so you can see that link and you can check it out, or I'll put it up above here, which might make it even a little bit easier. But practice those 8 most asked interview questions. It'll really help you, especially if you're sitting in front of somebody and there's a lot of pressure and you just want to answer it correctly. Well, you know what? If you practice, you don't even have to think about the answer. You can just comes out of your mouth and it's smooth. And you know what? It helps you to sell yourself. Well, that's all I got for you today, folks. I do want to thank you for watching this video. I also want to wish you good luck, and I honestly do think you don't have to worry about luck, because if you follow some of the tips, the steps that I've suggested here, I think that's certainly going to help you. Plus, you know what? You're going into a job market that just seems to be right for people like you and me, for people who are a little bit older, who've got the skills and got the experience to offer a company. And you know what? They need us as much as we need them. Remember that. That's all I got for you. Have a great day, everybody.